leave this city. Let's drive to the open air. Yeah, the countryside is so pretty, with the wind blowing in your hair. We can look back someday. Baby, don't you understand that we only get one life? I wanna make it count, honey. Come on now and take my hand. I know it's nothing new, but it's so good to see you. We do this every day, and I'm still so amazed by you. So hold me tight through the night. It's just us two, me and you. Oh, oh, I can't believe you love me. Oh, oh, I just feel so lucky. Oh, oh, still can't believe you love me. I hope it never ends, this being more than friends, yeah. You know I'm here to stay every single day, yeah. So hold me tight through the night. It's just us two, me and you. Oh, oh, I can't believe you love me. Oh, oh, I just feel so lucky. Oh, oh, still can't believe you love me. Falling into your arms, dancing up in the stars.
Splitting firewood has basically become part of our everyday routine. You don't know, firewood has to sit for at least a year to be able to season before you can burn it in your house. And so where we have enough wood for this year, we now need to season for next year. So that is what we've been doing most recently throughout our week, is trying to split some a little bit here and a little bit there. So that way it's not one big task all at once. But let's check on the bread. She has about 20 minutes left. She's looking yum. Remember, we were having a lot of issues before we got our inverter with our washer and dryer. Our bread maker is kind of doing the same thing. So what we've done instead is plug it into the portable power station.
Because it's able to provide good consistent voltage without any spikes. And since we've installed our bigger power inverter, we don't have that issue with the washer and dryer anymore. However, every electronic is different. Everything reacts differently to different voltages. So we noticed when making bread the other day that the bread maker the timer didn't like spiking in voltage anytime like the water pump would turn on or anything like that. But with using the power station, it provides good, clean, consistent power. That way it can go through its entire cycle without shutting down at all.
But the bread maker is not what we solely use our EcoFlow Delta for. We use it for so many different things. So thank you EcoFlow for sponsoring today's video, and let's talk about it. The EcoFlow Delta 2 is not just a battery. EcoFlow is a leading energy company that is dedicated to bringing innovational and eco-friendly power solutions for home backup, outdoor adventures, and professional needs.
That's the fastest AC charging with revolutionary extreme technology, so you can charge from 0 to 80% in 50 minutes and 0 to 100% in 80 minutes, 7 times faster than other power stations on the market. And you can also charge from solar in 3 to 6 hours with up to 500 watts of solar input. With its unique 1 to 3 kilowatt hour expandable capacity design, Delta 2 offers a large 1024 watt hour battery capacity, expandable up to 2048 watt hours with the Delta 2 extra batteries, or 3040 watt hours with the Delta Max extra battery. It's flexible and on-demand energy, keeping your appliances running for everyday use or as a home backup. It also has a super convenient app that you can use with Wi-Fi or Bluetooth to connect to your Delta 2, so you can keep an eye on your energy usage, adjust settings, and see your energy input all at the same time. And with how much energy that is, you gotta be like, come on, this thing has to weigh like 1,000,000 pounds, right? But it doesn't. It's super lightweight, only weighing 27 pounds. The Delta 2 has 3,000 life cycles, 6 times longer than the industry's average. With their advanced BMS protection, they guarantee safe charging for your family. The Delta 2 can provide a powerful up to 1,800 watt AC output with a 2,200 watt peak.
So we did not buy the most energy efficient fridge. Yeah, we just kind of bought one that I like. So it can pull a ton of energy on our solar panels, and we don't want it to drain the batteries at night.
So with its large and expandable battery capacity, it's been perfect to keep our fridge running throughout the day without pulling on our house batteries. We have our EcoFlow solar panel mounted on the roof, so it will actually charge the power bank and keep the fridge running throughout the day when the sun's out, as well as the batteries will keep it running throughout the night. This has been a huge help in giving us a lot more freedom with our power, as now we don't have to worry quite so much about did we discharge our house batteries too much or have to go check on them constantly whenever we want to run big appliances, because we know we're using a lot less power since the EcoFlow is compensating for that.
And it'll definitely be a huge help in our rainy season, because we do have a pretty large rainy season here in Missouri, and without all of that extra sun on the panels, we don't want our appliances to weigh heavy on our solar. The EcoFlow Delta 2 is not just a battery, it's an essential home appliance. Whether for daily home usage, outdoor travel use, it's a handy and eco-friendly power station for you and your family anywhere.
Head to the link in our description to check out EcoFlow's green energy solutions.
We have a ton of family and friends that come and stay with us, so whether they bring their own camper or they use ours, our Delta 2 has been a great asset to provide power to them while they are out here. I also use it to charge my laptop because I'm quite scared that something's gonna happen or the generator might switch over and my computer might fry, because it's happened to me before, not in this house, but in an actual home, my computer fried because it was plugged into the actual house, and so I use the Delta 2 for that as well.
And then it can also be used as a emergency battery backup system. So it's great for if you have an off-grid cabin and you're not always there, and say like you have a refrigerator or something like that, you want to make sure that it's constantly running and it doesn't go out in case of a power outage. It's great for a backup system like that. So if your power goes out, the fridge will keep running, or whatever else you have plugged into it.
Thank you again, EcoFlow, for sponsoring today's video. And we have a ton of trees to cut with our sawmill, so I think that's what we're going to be working on, at least for the first part of today. Well, I came over to get the tripod, and we have a friend, so a series of events that consist of multiple different projects before we can enclose the container. Number one, we have to paint. But paint is expensive, so we've been saving money, and we plan to do that within the next couple weeks, shooting for the end of the month, but probably looking towards the first couple weeks in October. The second thing that has to happen is our sawmill is currently bent, and we're going to talk more about that later, and we are actually going to be fixing that today. But the sawmill has to be fixed before we can enclose the bottom of the containers, because we're cutting the wood to enclose the containers. The next thing that has to happen is this log right here is not for enclosing the containers. It's actually for a set of stairs because of the size that it is. And we're not going to take this log off to put another one back on. We're just going to cut it. So this log has to be cut before we can start cutting to enclose the containers. So there's a series of events that have to happen, and we're going to start that today. So this is the first part of enclosing the containers, which is basically just tying up a bunch of loose ends to get to that point.
So as you can see from looking at the rollers for the feet, the sawmill is basically crooked. So this wheel is touching the back and this wheel has a big old gap. It was like that whenever I bought it, but it's basically causing the blade to be crooked like that. So one part of the blade is touching the wood before the other side of the blade is, and you want it to be even and consistent the whole way through. I've done a lot of tinkering with it to try to fix that crookedness, and I'm not really sure why it's still like that. It's like every time I adjust it, as soon as I tighten it, it just puts itself back. So because it's a Harbor Freight sawmill, it's a relatively cheaper model compared to what a typical sawmill would cost. It's always going to have some quirks with it, or at least mine does. So this is how we're going to fix it. We're going to be building a 4-post frame by adding tubing to each of the feet going up and then going to the top of the sawmill right there. So it'll basically create just a big box, and that'll keep the saw square and also make it a lot more sturdy and be able to roll a lot smoother.
Because we're welding a metal frame on, we're going to be sanding all the paint. And while I'm grinding, Cody's going to start measuring everything out. He is squaring out the saw blade and making sure that the angle is perfect.
And then always double check it after you tighten it, because sometimes it can move a little bit.
You're gonna be okay. Calm your soul. Hold my hand. Don't let go. I understand. It's over now, so don't despair. The world could fall down, it's gonna be okay. The sun could go out, we're gonna be okay. Before the blue skies fade to gray, we're gonna be okay.
Now he's going to cut the cross bracing, which he's using from part of the sawmill prior to us modifying it. He's going to use a ratchet strap to pull everything together and straighten it. The idea is once the frame is built and we take all the pressure off, it'll be completely straight and not move.
The world could fall down.
Lined the frame up on the mill because it's the most level surface.
So now that I have this squared out, I'm going to tack it all together, and then we'll put it in place and make sure it fits before we completely weld it.
We're gonna be okay. The world could fall down, it's gonna be okay. The sun could go out, we're gonna be okay. Before the blue sky.
That was just in my shoe, on my leg.
I would wait a lifetime if you were at sea. I just wanna say that I feel that our love is real. Maybe we should hurry up and seal the deal.
So I was getting ready to start tack welding the frame on and noticed that this pole is actually shifted forward, and so it's not level, and anything that's not level is going to affect how the saw cuts, and we want it to cut as straight as possible. I think they may have drilled the holes kind of at an angle whenever they built it, so I'm going to try turning the pole around the other way, basically turn it 180 degrees and see if that'll align it. If not, then we're just gonna have to take the whole thing apart and replace this pole. But let's hope we don't have to do that.
I would give it all away to do.
Whenever they drilled these two holes, they just drilled them a tiny bit crooked like this. So what we're gonna do is take out that top bolt, and then we're gonna try and wedge the whole set of wheels forward and the pole backward, and then we'll weld it in place, and then we'll probably re-drill the hole. That way we can get the bolt back in there, but with the weld we'll be able to hold it in place where we need it.
Oh, oh, I just wanna love you right.
Getting closer.
Oh,
So remember earlier how I showed you how I was squaring off my blade before I cut? Well, this is why. You can see that when they built this, they didn't do that, and so the whole angle is off, and that's why the saw's not square. Now I gotta recut it. You trim the bottom of the pole and got it put back into place, and then I used a ratchet strap to kind of crank it down to where exactly I wanted it. And threw down a little weld right here. I haven't knocked the slag off it yet, but now we're gonna start welding the frame on.
He's gonna tack weld it all first, and then we'll throw on some actual welds.
If I'm gonna love somebody, I just wanna love you. If I'm gonna love somebody, I just wanna love you. Oh, oh, I just wanna love you right. Oh, oh, love it till the end of time. I just wanna hold you for forever. Every day you're making me better, 'cause a love like this is rare, and I wanna take you there. Full stop. Can't believe I live in your thoughts. I think about you all the time, morning, evening, and midnight. Such a wonderful delight.
So as you can see, she lines up, and the frame is complete.
I guess let's test her out.
Yeah, I'd give it all up now, just to be with you somehow. Unexpected love was found.
Frame's definitely a lot more sturdy and a lot smoother while it rolls, but we're still getting a little bit of wavy cuts, so we're just gonna have to wait for a new blade to come in the mail, unfortunately.
We ordered it, so it should be shipped on the 28th, so we're hoping to have it like the beginning couple days of October. So it's that time of night again where we're exhausted and
You always wait until you stuff me full of food and then I'm falling asleep on the couch, then you're like, oh, we gotta end the video, babe. Sorry guys, I'm exhausted now.
I know that to y'all it was probably like a 10-minute clip, if that. But to us that was an all-day affair. It took a lot of thinking and just, there was a lot of mistakes on, not on his part, but on the manufacturer's part, because you know, it's Harbor Freight. So there was just a lot of fixing all day.
Yeah.
So it took a long time. And we basically didn't even end until dark. So
Yeah, I just kept finding problem after problem with it. I'd try to fix one thing and then it would cause an issue somewhere else, or I'd find a different problem with something else. So not a bad Sawmill if you're on a budget, but if you got the money, buy something nicer.
yeah, Nitro agrees.
Hush,
with
buddy.
it. I made cookies because a rough day calls for cookies. And now we're watching Harry Potter because a rough day calls for Harry Potter. But I think what we're going to be working on next is there's one more water line that we need to bury, and that's the one that's currently underneath the house, but I think we're going to map it around the house. And then we're going to start prepping the containers to paint. So while we wait for the blade to come in the mail. So he wants to go outside. So I think that's basically our cue.
Bye guys.
Bye.
See you in the next one.